And another tough situation is Giannis in Milwaukee. Giannis just recently came out and reported to the media. It wasn't directly from Giannis, but we saw from Giannis's camp that he plans on signing that supermax with the Bucks. And we saw the Heat rumors. We saw the Warriors rumors. We've seen the Dallas Mavericks rumors. They've all been heating up the past few months. What do you think is going to happen with Milwaukee right now? They just traded for Drew Holiday. They gave up a ridiculous amount. I believe it was 3 first-rounders and 2 pick swaps. The same amount that they gave up just to trade Anthony Davis. And that's what they got back for getting Anthony Davis. They got the same thing they got for AD from Drew. So, and what do you see with the Bucks?
I feel like the only reason they made that deal is because they felt if they made that deal, that would really convince Giannis to be like, okay. And I feel like they made that deal under the assumption that if they made it, Giannis would be like, all right, I'll stay. And then I feel like part of that had something to do with Bogey as well. Like they thought if we get rid of all this, we have enough left over to go after Bogey, right? But when Bogey says, nah, I don't want to play in Milwaukee, Giannis has to be thinking in his mind like, okay, if Bogdanovich doesn't want to come play in Milwaukee, how am I going to get guys to want to come here long term? Because Drew only has, a 1 year and then a player option. It's not going to be easy to convince players to come in and play with you. And I feel like maybe him, like Bogey saying, nah, I don't want to, I feel like that might just mess up the entire situation there. And it might result in Giannis leaving and Drew leaving and them being shit out of luck with it.
I was actually shocked to see that the Bucks would give up future first-round picks knowing that Giannis has no guarantee to stay. Hypothetically, let's say Giannis says, I'm going to stay. We just saw recently with the Warriors all these injuries that they've had with KD, with Clay, when they were going up for a championship. What happens if Middleton gets hurt? What happens if Drew Holiday gets hurt? What happens, like you said, if Drew Holiday leaves? And going back to what you were saying about Bogdanovich, for those of you that don't know, the Bucks did a sign and trade with the Kings for Bogdanovich. It was for Bogdanovich, for Dante DiVincenzo, DJ Wilson, and Ersan Ilyasova. That trade fell through 2 days later because Bogdan said, no, I'm not trying to go to Milwaukee. That shit's way too cold. I'm not living there. I can't go from California to Milwaukee. And you can't blame him, but man, that's difficult. I mean, if you got a player like Bogdanovich who doesn't want to play in Milwaukee, I completely agree with you. How are they going to get superstars to get there? A trade I thought was going to happen was Chris Paul. Like, we just saw Chris Paul. Breaking news for those who don't know, he just got traded to the Phoenix Suns. That's a huge addition for the Suns. But what about Milwaukee? How do you not get a player like that next to Giannis, especially given the fact that you don't know how long Giannis is going to be there? I understand he gave you his word, but giving up future picks for the next 5-6 years and pick swaps and keep in mind, this is Drew Holiday. How do you trade that much for Drew Holiday? It makes no sense to me. That's going to go down as one of the worst trades in Bucks history and probably the worst trades in NBA history because now they don't have anything to trade.
Yeah, if Giannis stays, you can make the argument like, okay, we gave up a lot, but it was enough to convince him to stay, like enough to convince him we're going to try. But like, I don't know if I would trust somebody's word that much. My ex-girlfriend told me she loved me forever, and we broke up, and I haven't heard from her for a year. So word doesn't mean that much in, in the scope of things. So if I'm the Bucks, I wouldn't make that trade personally. But if I was going to trade that many picks, at least call Houston and just say, hey, would you think about taking this for James Harden? I know Harden and Giannis have a weird relationship, but gosh darn it, try to get a better player than Drew Holiday. I like Drew Holiday, but you had to.
Drew Holiday is not a star. You don't give up that much. The same amount you gave up for Anthony Davis. Guys, keep in mind, the Lakers went from a non-playoff team to a championship team once they got Anthony Davis. The Bucks are not winning a championship by adding Drew Holiday. Yeah, they might. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the Bucks are not winning it this year. They could easily win it this year. But it's not going to have much to do with Drew Holiday. It's going to have to do with how Giannis plays in the fourth quarter, how Giannis can handle improving his shot, improving his game at the end of the fourth quarter when they need someone to step up. And we've seen that. I mean, a lot of times the Bucks resort to Chris Middleton. You can't do that. You got to be the superstar that says, no, head down, I'm taking over. This is my team. I want a championship. I want to win it. You got to do it on your own. And like you said, you can't listen to what people are going to say. Yes, Giannis might say that, but he might be like you, and he's like, I'm going to stay. But then he's like, nah, I don't want to be in a relationship. I'm going to start buying content, so we just don't know.
I agree. It just even Kyrie Irving last year. I mean, he was talking like, well, if you guys would like to have me back, I'm gonna stay. And then Celtics like, all right, cool, he's staying. And then he just bounces. I mean, now we're stuck with Kemba Walker, and he can't even walk up a flight of stairs. So we are screwed beans. But I'll rant about the Celtics offseason later. Let's continue on with the trades.